If you're a hardworking person, a 9 to 5er, as they say, and you've been contemplating becoming an entrepreneur, but you're just not sure if you can pull it off. And while your family members and people you grew up with, potential pastors and college professors, they care about you, they just tell you that the odds are against you and there's a chance that you might not make it. So you use these sayings and these thoughts and memories as an excuse to not get started. But there's something in you that wants you to take a chance anyway. And if you've been struggling with it and you've been trying to get motivation and you just don't know what to do, you've come to the right video. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 simple steps that you need to take in order to get the ball rolling in terms of whatever business idea you have. Because chances are, if you thought about it, then it could be something that could very well impact the world. And I'm going to give you a bonus tip after I give you the 3 steps at the end of the video that could also help you moving forward. All right, let's dive right in. Step number 1. If you are going to get started, you must have faith. Simply, without the belief that you can become the person to do the thing that you are contemplating on, hoping on, you will not move forward. If you don't believe that you can become more than you are now in order to provide the marketplace with a product that could change the game for them, you will not take the necessary steps to move forward. And this is essential. And whether you're a believer in the Bible or not, faith is an essential component to pulling off a successful business. Because I'm going to be honest, it takes time. It takes work. But here's the good news. There are a lot of successful people that have gone before you. And in today's marketplace, we have more information and testimonials and case studies from successful business people than ever. Books, courses, podcasts. There are so many resources that you can tap into that could help you develop the mindset and the encouragement and the guidance you need to get going on your endeavor. And one of the best things you can do is to invest in yourself, right? It's one thing to just read books and listen to podcasts and watch, YouTube case studies of successful entrepreneurs speaking about their journey and tips and things like that. But to actually invest in coaching or mentorship or courses is one of the best decisions that you could possibly make, because what I've learned is when you pay a lot, you usually pay attention. And I had just made a recent investment, and it was one of the best decisions that I ever made. But in order for me to get to that place, I had to develop the level of faith that I could become the person who could pull it off. So that's step 1, faith. You had to develop the faith. And before I get to step 2, I just want to remind you of this. If it's been done by millions of others, then you can do it too. You are unique and were created in the image of God. So that means that you can develop yourself. Remember, one of the first commandments he gave to man before the 10 Commandments was to be fruitful and multiply, right? And to have dominion. That means you can actually be bountiful in the offerings and value that you offer, and you can exponentially increase that value and you can actually rule over your assignment in a way that brings immense value to the marketplace. I want you to keep that in mind. You can do it, so develop the faith. Step number 2, you must develop the mindset. Now, the mindset is very key, and I know it sounds cliche. You hear a lot of what they call gurus and motivational speakers and thought leaders just throwing that word around, but it really is essential. Before I could get to the point where I'm at now, and by no means have I arrived. I'm still on a journey, but I'm a lot farther than I've ever been, and I've accomplished a lot. And I create videos like this because I want to take people on the journey, because I know there's a lot of people who want to get started, whether they have families or not. They want to contribute to the world. They want to make a difference. They have really great ideas, but they simply haven't found enough encouragement, and they haven't developed that mindset to really take action on it. And I encourage you to do so. And that's why I'm sharing my journey here at the Russell D. McLean YouTube channel. But the mindset was everything for me. But to be honest with you, it took me a long time to really get any real momentum. It took me so long because I hadn't yet developed a mindset. Once I rewired my thinking and I changed my behaviors, right, the game changed for me. So developing the mindset is essential, because faith alone, right, is not going to be enough. Is one thing to believe that you can do it, but you have to develop the right thinking, the right behaviors, so that you can take the right actions in order to gain any real momentum. So mindset is something you have to really focus on developing for yourself. And that means you have to take inventory and be honest with yourself of your thinking patterns and your behaviors that did not serve you, have not served you. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It doesn't mean the people that have maybe intentionally or unintentionally helped in programming you since you were a child to believe these ideas. You simply need to become aware. You need to question. You need to reevaluate some of these beliefs that you've developed that's been holding you back. Because if you don't fix them, you're not going to behave in a way that's congruent with someone who is going to become an ultimate success. If there are any contradictions there's going to be a conflict. If you have any cognitive dissonance, that's going to be one of the main things that will hold you back. So you have to develop a clear mindset. And there's a lot of resources in order to get you on that right track. But the one thing that you're going to need is honesty, right? You're going to need a level of that you probably never have, used for yourself before. You're definitely going to need that honesty in order to become aware, in order to see what's not working and to accept what's not working for you. You have to become brutally honest with yourself, right? Honesty is the key, right? Truth it will always make you free, all right? So that's step number 2, mindset. And I want to get to the last step that you're going to need, right? And it's not what you think. It's not consistency. That's not it, right? Although you definitely will need that. The last step is discipline. Why do I say discipline? I say discipline because discipline is at the root of consistency. In order for you to have consistency in anything, you will need the discipline. And the reason why the discipline is needed, the reason why you need to develop the resourcefulness and the resilience to apply the discipline is because whenever you start off doing anything, and no one is exempt from this, by the way, you will always face disruption. Disruption will always follow your intention. no matter how well-meaning it is. When you start off to do something good, something will always show up that will be a roadblock or barrier that you may have to, no, not even want to say may, you will have to overcome in order for you to gain the momentum you need, right? And so you won't even be able to tap into the level of consistency that you need if you don't have the discipline to plant yourself, right? And understand objectively that you're not doing anything wrong. This is simply the natural pattern of things. This is why iterations are required. A lot of people feel that if they go for something and they do enough research and they read enough books and they get enough examples that it's worked, right? Okay, then it must work, especially if I've taken the time to be careful, to make the right decisions. I've done the right marketplace research. And why isn't it working, right? And so they get discouraged and then they give up. Listen, iterations are a natural pattern of in business and anything in life, right? When you were a child, when you first started walking, you didn't just walk perfectly on the first try. You had to do several iterations before you did it. Same when you rode a bike. Even when you finally were going in a straight line, you suddenly potentially fell off to the side, right? So you had to take a few iterations before you were riding, like an experienced bike rider, right? But at first you were like a novice. You kept stumbling and fumbling and falling and things like that. So that's just a natural part of it. Iterations are a natural part of the pattern. So, and I promise you, if you look at any case study or testimonial, any talk, or listen to any business person, read that book, you will see that pattern, right? Whether it's a business person, whether it's a doctor, whether it's an athlete, anybody. And like I said, you can recall in your own life where you had to do several iterations before something became effortless, right? It took no conscious resources in order for you to do it, like tying your shoe. Right now, you can do that effortlessly without even thinking or looking at it. Right. So I want you to keep that in mind. You need to develop the discipline because there are going to be challenges, and I don't want you to be discouraged. But developing that discipline will allow for you to have the consistency that is required for you to get the outcome that you need. Now, I'm going to give you some bonus tips as promised. Those bonus tips are, before you approach the marketplace, you must put yourself in a marketplace mindset. What do I mean by that? That means you must only think of what the market currently desires, and preferably something that is what we would call evergreen, something that's going to be around, right? Something that's in high demand, something that almost most human beings can't live without, even if it's on an entertainment level, right? You have to remember that longevity is the key, something that's scalable. You need to be thinking about the lifetime value of a potential customer or client. So you want to think about only what they desire, think about the pain points and the problems that they have, and come up with an elegant way that is unique from any other solution that is currently in existence, right? Always sell and only sell what people want to buy and not what you want to sell. That's one of the first tips. Number two, become obsessed with feedback, right? Feedback is a breakfast of champions. You're not always going to get it right. Like I said, it's going to take several iterations. But if you become objective and put your emotions aside, and like I said, put yourself in the person's shoes and think about how you can really improve the experience, you're going to need honest feedback from the marketplace, from professionals that have gone before you. So don't be emotionally rattled when someone tells you you didn't get it right away. It may require several iterations. And don't get caught up on how many iterations you had to take versus someone else. It's going to take what it takes. Do your best to move in a way that is built on proven principles. And what do I mean by that? Because success leaves clues. Use principles that have been proven to work from people that are in a similar arena that you're approaching for yourself. So that's what I mean by that. And the last tip I'm going to give you is work to become a master. Mastery is key. If you're going to learn any skill that you're going to apply to your endeavors, right? To the value that you're looking to add to the marketplace, to develop one of the best products that have ever been developed, you're going to require a level of mastery that you've not yet been familiar with, or you may not even be comfortable in doing. But the one thing that I learned, and this is one of the most important lessons, learning is not just about knowing, right? The reason and the point of learning and the purpose of learning is mastery. Because without mastery, you can't serve people at a masterful level. You can't serve people at higher levels of value, right? So in order to put yourself in a space, and what do I mean by mastery before I close the video? Mastery is meaning being able to execute it and perform a skill without the use of conscious resources, right? It's something you can do without thinking. Like I said, tying your shoe, right? You've mastered tying your shoe. You've now mastered walking, right? You've now mastered speaking and reading and writing. So it's going to take several iterations. Don't get caught up in the number and comparing yourself to others. That's one thing that's going to, hold you back. Don't get caught up in the comparisons. Just know that if they did it, you can too. I hope this video was helpful to you, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Until next video.